plenty of opportunities at the moment.
This evening is a 6 3-minute rounds contest in the middleweight division. Firstly, fighting out of the red corner with 16 wins, 7 by way of knockout, 32 losses, weighing in 160 pounds, 9 ounces. And tonight he wears the black and silver shorts. Please welcome from Gomel, Belarus, Dzmitry Atrokhau. And across the ring in the blue corner, unbeaten with 9 wins, 5 by way of knockout, weighing in 161 pounds, 6 ounces. And tonight he wears the black and green shorts. Please welcome from Northampton, Big Ben Fail. Your referee in charge is Sean McAvoy, who will now give his final instructions.
Okay, lads, 6-round contest. Keep it clean all the time, keep yourself protected all the time. Touch gloves, here we go. Good luck, lads.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 3-minute rounds.
So a little bit of excitement here at the York Hall Bethel Green as the action starts to flow. Live on the
Round 1.
Boxnation YouTube channel. And here is the return of another southpaw, of course, Big Ben Fail. He stands 6'1", one of the 2 very talented twin brothers from Northampton. Many still have him earmarked as a potential British champion level minimum operator. And I know, Richie, you've always been a fan, and you know them well, of course, from their amateur days.
I know Carl a little bit better, because I trained Carl when he was on GB. But I heard good things about Ben, obviously, and you know, Carl used to tell me everything about Ben, that he's literally not only are they twins, but their styles are very similar. Both southpaws, both extremely good technique, paw, good boxers. Out and out boxers, you know, and they carry a fair bit of whack with them as well. So yes, Ben Fail, you know, I've watched his career. He's 9-0 at the moment with those 5 knockouts. Decent southpaw because of the skills that he has, but he's up against a tough guy here tonight. Only been stopped once in 30-odd losses that he's had. So this again, it's a different type of challenge, and one Ben, I'm sure, will rise to.
Of course, no reason why he should feel under the clock, as it were, but he has had a first-round stoppage win here recently enough against Jan Alexandru Lutic. And of course, as Ricky says, Atrokhau's a survivor. He will have seen that, and he'll know, if he can, how to get out of harm's way. He certainly wants to hear the bell at the end of the first round. That will give him a little bit of confidence, a little pat on the back if he does do that.
One of the problems that Atrokhau has got here, Paul, he's in against another southpaw who's probably got more skills than him, but he's got a very low lead hand. Occasionally he gets it up to the temple, but look how he's just dropping it now. Now that's just going to invite that left hand from Ben, and that's one of his, you know, his danger shots. He caught up in the adverts there, but like I say, that's one of his danger shots, Ben Fail. He sets that left hand up behind that jab, and if his opponent here, Atrokhau, keeps that right hand of his low, that lead hand, he's going to get caught with that shot.
Nice and measured here in the first couple of minutes. Ben Fail, he knows it's not a sprint, and he knows not to take any liberties, like a good young pro would do.
Yeah, and experimenting with his shots here. A couple of good jabs earlier to the body from Ben Fail. Testing his opponent and trying to bring the elbows down a little bit so he can score with that left hand over the top. But there's that jab, you see. Lovely shot there from him. Well measured, just measuring the distance and the gap between himself with that shot. There's the shot to the body. And so then, you know, what will follow soon will be that left hand over the top.
That was a classy little passage of work, wasn't it, to end the round from Fail. He is a very classy operator. Echo, how did you think he started that?
He started that great. Atrokhau was throwing a few lazy jabs, and Ben caught him straight from the off with a counter left hand, and he was really asserting his jab, as you both mentioned before. I think he's really putting the pressure on to Atrokhau.
Happily none the worse for that little tangle up in the advertising. I always have nightmares about them.
Yeah, I used to hate them actually when I boxed them around. They really annoyed me. And I think I kicked one out once.
I think I remember that, actually.
Yeah, I remember.
Did you get a little bit off the paycheck at the end of the night, Richie?
No, not at all.
Corners,
I got
10
a
seconds.
bit of a roasting off Frank, I think, for doing it. But
Probably did.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of blood around
Seconds
Atrokhau
out.
across the
Round
eyebrows at
two.
the moment. I can't see any really significant damage, but I think there was evidence that he is a stinging puncher when he lets him go. Big Ben.
So I think Atrokhau has already felt the power of Ben Fail. That's why he's on that back foot. Like I say, he's in against probably a more skillful southpaw here, so he's got his work cut out. He's also, obviously, Ben Fail has got the height and reach over his opponent here. So this could be a difficult night for Atrokhau. But we know he's a tough guy, you know, and he competes well. And I think he'll have to try and get up close to Ben Fail because he keeps being picked off with these long straight shots. So he may just decide, or he should try and get up close and try and land on the inside. He's the shorter man. He may have some success there, but he's not going to do anything for me on the outside there, mid and long range. Atrokhau, the way it's shaping up, he's got to watch out, not only for the left hand, but the left uppercut here may just,
Absolutely.
you know, pay dividends for Ben Fail. He's setting him up with that jab, but he's obviously thinking of what's to come, you see. So it's good work from Ben. He's just whipping that jab in.
He's a very thoughtful operator, isn't he, Richie?
And there it is. There's that little left uppercut. So you can see what he's doing and what he's thinking here. And Atrokhau has really got to change what he's doing because he's being picked off.
I think
left, right and
maybe
centre.
what's happening, Richie, is that default mechanism for Atrokhau, because he's been around, is getting close. But if he's going to go in close, he is absolutely walking into the uppercut.
Yeah, he is. But what he's got to do to get close, Paul, is slip the jab, and he's got to do more head movement. So
Don't
maybe,
see him being good enough to do that. That's his problem.
well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, and probably a little bit more dynamic with the feet to get up close and move the head as he's going forward. But he's just a little bit too slow. Looking for that left hand over the top there. But he's just too static for me. And staying at mid and long range, then it's going to be a long night for him, this.
Pressure building from Fail in this second round.
Well, there you go, you see, from Atrokhau when he's on the inside there. Just had an opportunity because Ben probably just fell in after his work, and he took advantage of trying to come back with 3 or 4 shots, bent arm work on the inside. So that's what he's got to try and do. But as you say, Paul, it's closing that gap without getting hit, and getting up close and then delivering the right shots on the inside. Difficult.
I will say, Richie, I do love Dzmitry Atrokhau's attitude, his appetite for this job.
Tough guy.
Tough guy.
Yeah, he's a tough man indeed. And you can see, you know, he's well schooled. He's obviously got some boxing ability about him. No question of that. But he's second best at this stage here.
As it should be, because we've said that Ben Fail is a recognised up-and-comer, a big prospect potentially, and he's showing his talents here tonight so far. Echo, over to you.
I think Ben Fail is definitely making use of his range, setting about, letting his shots go, and just being out of Atrokhau's range when he tries to counter some of his shots. And also he's not falling victim to Atrokhau playing possum and letting him kind of walk him down and being caught with silly shots when he sets about it on the inside.
Well, there is a sign that some of these do sting, because it's not been a really hot tempo, but you know, if you're taking 3 or 4 or 5 big blows per round and you're having to keep moving, Richie, it's going to test you.
Yeah, you know, he's just been picked off, so it's a good display from Ben Fail. What I would say to Ben also is not to fall in after his work. He got caught with just a couple of silly little shots because he leant forward after he'd actually landed his own shots.
Seconds out.
And Atrokhau came back with his.
Scheduled 6th rounder tonight. Of course, it was an 8-round points win against Omar Rodriguez here for Ben Fail. Rodriguez was down in the second round, but much like our opponent here tonight, Rodriguez didn't let Fail walk all over him. In fact, I checked the scorecards from there. Rodriguez actually took 3 of those rounds in that fight. What I like about that, I only mention it, Richie, because to me, they're not giving him easy fights. There's a little bit of learning being done in all these fights for Fail at the moment. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely, and that's what it's about, Paul, isn't it? You don't want boxers to be led into a false sense of security in professional boxing. So, yes, to give them a little bit extra to do in each contest, a little bit more so they learn from it. That's the secret of good matchmaking. And here, I think it's the jab that's obviously penetrating and that's winning this contest. You can see Ben's a little bit more polished than his opponent, but you know these boxers from Belarus, they have a good amateur system. They're very good amateur boxers. They're well schooled. And here you have a guy who's tough. He knows how to get out of the way. He's just in against a better southpaw, really, who's taller and who doesn't give a lot away either. The only thing he's done wrong here tonight, Ben Fail, is occasionally he's fell in and he's allowed Atrokhau to come back, but that's just been very fleeting, and you know that hasn't happened many times. He's just controlling things, dictating with that lead hand for me.
I did say it's been a little bit stop-start in terms of the overall career shape to this point. There's lots of time for that to be put right, but you know, March this year in Wolverhampton, Robin Zamora, 6 rounds. And it's time to get it all moving again, really, for Ben Fail. And the move away from his previous circuit of operations for Atrokhau has certainly done him no harm at all. He was getting a lot of his work in Russia up to 2024. And without going into the political or the geopolitical, obvious why he wouldn't necessarily want to be there now.
Well, that would be tough out there as well, Paul.
That's why I mentioned it, Rich.
Absolutely, it'd be a really tough contest in Russia, where they're brilliant boxers. You know, and he's boxing Switzerland, he's boxing France, he's boxing Ukraine, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, who produce some really excellent fighters also. So he's experienced, he's been about.
As you know, Richie, having just come through the World Championship with the astonishing talent, the next-gen talent coming from Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan.
Yeah, they're the new Cubans.
Amazing.
The Uzbeks and the Kazakhs, they really are. But he's clever, this Atrokhau. Occasionally he looks down at his feet, he looks at his gloves, and that's just literally to throw Ben Fail off the scent a little bit, just to distract him. Clever, very clever.
Good piece of matchmaking for me, this. It's not as easy as it looks for Ben Fail to keep on looking good. Echo.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially for a southpaw facing a southpaw. I think a lot of us orthodox lads have that problem, that we haven't come across a lot of southpaw lads, but I think southpaws have the same issue. So it's good to see Ben make use of the different kind of angles that he would be normally trying to exploit, and using different ones against another southpaw opponent, and he's doing them really well, sitting on his shots, landing them well to the body, and he's also very defensively minded.
I'm just going to try this now, Richie. Let's see what happens next when I try
Corners,
this question.
10 seconds.
That big fight ahead. That's why you're studying all the southpaws and the guys who are long. That's why you're taking notes as we do this tonight. And we're going to get the plan out of you before we let you go, okay? Halfway. Ben Fail, one of a clutch of young middleweights in Great Britain at the moment, for whom opportunities may not be far away, Richie. We were looking through the rankings, you and I. We know that there's some star names at the top. Eubank Jr., Liam Smith, Denzel Bentley, of course, who sat in Echo's chair on many an occasion here with us at the York Hall, Bethnal Green, and one or two established guys like Tyler Denny in that top 10. But I've got 2 observations. The top 8 at this moment, there's only 2 unbeaten fighters, number 1. And number 2, as I think it was John Evans wrote a piece in Ring Magazine not very long ago, basically saying that for complex reasons, there's been a bit of a dearth of title opportunities, British title, English title, and that's all starting now to become a piece of history. The opportunities are starting. Tonight, the English title rematch between Janad Boston and Bilal Fawaz, and you know, there is the British middleweight title, and why would a young up-and-comer like Ben Fail not be thinking it might be my opportunity?
Exactly, and those type of contests won't be too far away. He's been 8 rounds a couple of times now, Ben Fail. So he'll have to go to 10 at some stage, and then up to 12 for the big ones. But yes, it's just experience over the rounds, really, Paul, because you can see he's got the skills, and obviously him and his brother are learning a lot in the game. So yeah, I mean, again, this is another good learning fight for him. But yeah, he'll just have to get the experience over the 10 rounds, really, 10 and 12 rounds. He won't get it over 12 because that'll have to be a title fight, but certainly over 10 if he picks up an English title or an intercontinental title of some sort. And it's just getting the experience over 10 rounds to set him up for then maybe a British title shot in the future. But he's certainly got the skills, him and his brother, for me, to go on and challenge for a British title. It's just getting the experience.
I love the application from Fail in this round. He's doing his level best to drag a mistake or two out of Atrokhau, and he's certainly up the tempo again. We were talking about Hamza Butt showing tonight. Where was that gear change? We're seeing it here a little bit from Ben Fail at the halfway point in this fight.
He's got to keep setting his opponents up with that jab and then whip that left uppercut through, maybe finish on the right hook also. But yes, he's nice and neat, isn't he, Ben Fail? But it's important that the jab keeps going out, keeps measuring the distance and the target. Mustn't get complacent. That was a nice shot on the inside there. A short left hand that went in from Ben Fail. Yes, he certainly felt that, Atrokhau.
Good round. Echo Esserman, your view?
It was a good round in terms of tempo. You could definitely see Ben amping it up and really getting stuck in there. And what was nice to see was he was putting in a lot of clean work to say the tempo was high. There was punches and skirmishes from both of them. He's definitely well schooled, and he's definitely setting about the match in the right way.
Yeah, I think, Paul, good round. Occasionally then, again, he's just been reminded that he can't sit and admire his work, because occasionally, like I said, he just stops after some of his work. He might lean in, and this Atrokhau, he's waiting for that, and he's coming back with 3 and 4 shots. So again, it's learning as you're going along here. But when he keeps his punches nice and straight, mid to long range, then Atrokhau has got no answer to that.
Seconds out, round 5.
Fail in front, Fail being made to work. That's the bigger picture in what's, to my eye, been a very good piece of matchmaking here tonight at this stage in the career of Ben Fail. A chance for him to show everybody he intends to really press on, if I could use the old term about us being in a new season now. I know it doesn't really work out nowadays, Richie, the way it did maybe 30 or 40 years ago, but the opportunities should soon come into range for Fail if he can keep on performing with the intensity he's showing here tonight.
Yeah, some good work again from him. The variation in his work I like, Paul, because he's great with his jab and his straight left hand, but also on the inside, the uppercut, the little right hook to the body as well. He's finding the gaps, he's looking for the openings as well now against Atrokhau, who again, look, comes back with the odd shot here and there, and just reminds Ben Fail that, you know, he's not having it all his own way, and that he's still a little bit dangerous. But I think the writing's on the wall here. Ben is increasing, he's growing in confidence, you can see, up in the tempo more and more. And I think Atrokhau is just struggling occasionally with the pace that Ben Fail is setting.
Jab to the body, they're telling Fail from the corner. It's quite an elusive target, that. He's much shorter, Atrokhau, and he's very, very good at slipping and sliding around the side of that jab. See?
Well, he's learnt on as the contest has gone on as well, because that right hand of his, that lead hand, was very low at the start, but when Ben Fail threatens now and gets close, it's really high. So it's becoming a difficult guard to actually penetrate. That's why I think he's looking more for the right hand, right hook rather, to the body. Just took a couple there. There's the right hook again, look downstairs. Those type of shots will definitely have more of an effect on Atrokhau.
But that's what you get for your money when you're bringing in a near 50 fight pro who spent a lot of time in one of the hardest professional schools in the world, if I could put it like that, the outer regions of Russian professional boxing. What a hard landscape in every sense that is, but that is where this man has learned his trade.
See, that was a cracking shot again downstairs, that right hook to the body, but he's shown how tough he is, Atrokhau. But he's getting weaker and weaker slightly. You can just tell that Fail's just increasing the intensity and is having more of an effect.
There's the twin brother, Carl, watching from the outside. They did used to spar together a lot, but in the end I think they made a joint decision that they wouldn't do that anymore. But they still support each other in every conceivable way. Echo, over to you as we look at some of the highlights from that round.
It was a wicked round. Ben was definitely turning up the screw, and I did think at certain points maybe he was chasing Atrokhau a bit too much, because Atrokhau was still countering with a good few combos, just like in that highlight there. However, Atrokhau is also starting to slow down slightly, and Ben landed a wicked right hook to his gut midway through that round, and he's definitely starting to he's definitely
corners, 10 seconds,
and it's easing in.
Seconds out, 6 and final round.
So 1 to go. The 6'1" Ben Fail, the southpaw prospect. The boys are based in Northampton, but I know he's been working a lot with the esteemed Peacock gym. Plenty of support tonight for Fail here at the York Hall, and lots of admiration for his work. 6 good rounds in terms of giving Fail a good workout at this stage, Richie.
Yeah, it's been a cracking workout for him actually, very good matchmaking. I think to get a stoppage now would be the icing on the cake, because for most of the contest he's been fairly dominant, but like I say, Atrokhau has come back occasionally after Ben has just got a little bit complacent here and there in terms of just holding his feet or just falling in a little bit. It's important, you see, especially with the first shot, that you hit the target. If you miss it and you fall in, then Atrokhau there, look, just comes back with his work. So yeah, I think it's been a real decent workout for him, Paul. And like I say, you know, he'll be looking to go on to bigger and better things. But it's this type of contest that you learn from. And like I say, I think this is a 6-rounder, obviously, but he's been 8 rounds a couple of times. And then obviously, to fight for titles, it'll be 10 and 12 rounds. So he's setting himself up here. And again, lovely work on the inside with that left uppercut.
There are 1 or 2 little abrasions and blood marks, if I could put it like that, around the countenance of Atrokhau. No out-and-out cut problem, but the wear and tear is showing itself. And I think he's quite mindful here. Atrokhau is in a very exciting back-and-forth affair last time. Not that long ago, a couple of weeks ago, against Stephen Nunes in Glasgow. Atrokhau was in it, quote-unquote, but dropped in round 5. He doesn't want to sit down late on in this one.
No, he's under pressure now. I think because he's taken a few shots here and there, Atrokhau, throughout the contest. He's actually tiring a little bit now. And I think Ben Fail, he senses that, Paul.
He's coming looking for a finish here, Fail, to really catch everybody's eye watching tonight on the Boxnation YouTube channel. The crowd are up for it. They obviously, as usual, we say it, they know they're boxing here. They know when there is that possibility that there could be a spectacular final 30 seconds here from Fail.
Couple of clever little shots though from Atrokhau on the inside there, Paul. Just waiting for an opportunity. He just swings out a lead hook that just caught Ben Fail. Again, a good reminder that he's still there. This has been a good last round for Ben Fail though. He's really increased the intensity and he's caught Atrokhau with some real decent shots here.
Last couple of seconds, then we'll hear the bell. And Ben Fail will have banked 6 very valuable rounds indeed. And one little footnote, Richie, if I may, to the point you just made there. One of the smarter moments in that round was when Atrokhau did come back and with about a minute to go, and rather than say, oh, I need to put on a show for everybody, a young pro on the way up said, I'll reset even if it's not quite so spectacular, and go about my work properly. I like that.
Yeah, great point. And Echo, I thought it was a good last round.
I thought it was a brilliant last round. You alluded to Ben making more success with his left uppercut, and he definitely did that in that round. He was leading with it at one point, and it definitely brought a lot of success.
Look at that, brilliant. I don't know them well, but I have to say they seem to me a couple of admirable young men, Ben and his brother, and you do know them much better than I, Richie.
Yeah, they are nice fellas, you know, very placid. I felt Carl was a very placid guy, but they box very similar, very well educated with that jab of theirs, but yeah, they're good boxers, Paul, and they've got big futures for me.
Here's Mark Burdiss.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee scores the contest 60 points to 54. The winner in the blue corner from Northampton, Big Ben Vale.
So there he is.
Ladies and
all the
gentlemen,
numbers on the night went with him. He won every round, Ben
Dzmitry
Fail. And in terms
Atrokhau.
of career numbers, that is now 10 straight wins starting his pro career. A very obvious talent. The temperament clearly is exceptional, and it would be great to see him really take off over the next couple of years.